All right, let's dive into something I think pretty much everyone struggles with. It's that daily choice, right? You know the one. On one side, there's that thing you know you should do. Maybe it's hitting the gym or tackling that huge pile of emails, maybe finally getting your finances in order.
Your future self is definitely cheering for that one.
Totally. Promising, health, wealth, clarity, all the good stuff. But then there's the other side.
Yes, the want.
Exactly. That immediate, irresistible pull of that new show everyone's talking about, or just scrolling social media, or maybe just collapsing on the couch with a snack.
And let's be honest, in that moment,
The want usually wins, right? Most of the time, yeah. It feels like our brains are just hardwired for that instant reward, not some vague benefit way off in the distance. It doesn't really feel like a fair fight.
it really doesn't.
But what if I told you the smartest, most productive people you know, the ones who seem to consistently hit their goals and actually create the life imagine they don't actually fight this battle with just like sheer willpower?
That's a really key point. They're not just gritting their teeth.
No. They found this simple, kind of elegant psychological trick. It makes doing the necessary thing feel almost as good as the easy thing they want to do. They basically called a truce between the should and the want.
Turning them into allies, essentially.
Yes, allies. This amazing strategy, it's called temptation bundling. And that's what we're unpacking in this discussion, why smart people use temptation bundling. We're going to show you how this productivity hack can honestly revolutionize how you reach your goals and manifest the success you're looking for.
That internal conflict you laid out, that want versus should, it's universal. I've spent decades looking at human behavior, and let me tell you, it's a fundamental challenge. It's not a personal failing.
That's reassuring to hear.
It really is. It's basically the daily clash between your present self, who wants instant gratification, and your future self, who's thinking long term. And you nailed it. It often feels rigged against the future self. The core reason, scientifically, is something called present bias. Our brains just naturally overvalue what feels good right now and heavily discount future benefits. It's wired for those quick hits of dopamine.
Dopamine, the motivation molecule.
Exactly, often called the pleasure chemical, but it's really about anticipation of reward. That anticipation drives the urge for immediate satisfaction. So our mission here isn't to tell you to just, force yourself through it with willpower.
Because that's exhausting.
Totally exhausting and often fails. Instead, we're revealing a method that actually works with your brain's wiring. Uses it as fuel, really. And this goes beyond just productivity. It's about consistently taking those actions, those inspired actions that align with manifesting the success or the money or the career you truly desire.
That's such a crucial point. It's not a character flaw. It's just how we're built. This present bias thing.
Precisely.
So your future self might desperately want to be healthier or wealthier, but your present self just sees the effort of the gym or the boredom of budgeting, right?
Right.
And the couch looks so comfy now.
The reward for the should feels abstract, far away. It's for that future person.
Yeah, well, the reward for the want is right here. Immediate, guaranteed. So the brain goes for the sure thing.
Almost every time, unless you have a strategy.
And that creates this draining want-should conflict. The shoulds are the things serving our big goals, exercising, deep work, paying taxes, the important stuff.
And the wants are the immediate goodies, scrolling TikTok, that sugary drink, binge watching. For ages, the advice was just power through, use willpower.
You'll just do it mantra.
Right. But anyone who's tried knows willpower isn't infinite. It's like a muscle, right? It gets tired.
That's a perfect analogy. It fatigues.
Every time you force yourself, you use up a bit more of that mental energy. It gets harder to make the next good choice. It's why you can resist the donut all morning.
And then find yourself face first in a pizza box late at night.
Exactly. Zero defenses left. It's an exhausting losing battle if you don't have a smarter way. Spot on with the muscle analogy. And understanding dopamine is key here. It's the anticipation that drives the urge. The most successful people, the high achievers, they get this.
They're not fighting their biology.
No, they're working with it. They don't try to crush those desires for instant gratification. They leverage them. They use them as fuel. Honestly, understanding this basic brain mechanism, our bias towards immediate rewards, that's step one to gaining real control over your habits.
Okay.
It's about consciously designing your actions, your environment even, to consistently move towards attracting what you want, whether that's that dream job, financial freedom, or just overall well-being.
Okay, so if that's the problem, this present bias, this willpower drain, what's the breakthrough? How do we actually bridge that gap between should and want?
Well, that brings us to the work of Catherine Milkman. She's a behavioral economist, a professor at Wharton.
Right, I've heard of her work.
She had this exact struggle herself. Knew she should hit the gym after a long day, but man, the pull of relaxing at home with a good book was just overwhelming. Specifically, she was desperate to listen to the audiobook of The Hunger Games.
Page turner or year turner.
Exactly. And then, like a light bulb moment, she thought, wait a minute, what if I could solve both problems at once?
Okay, how?
She made a simple but absolutely unbreakable rule. She was only allowed to listen to that super addictive audiobook while she was actually at the gym working out.
Ooh, okay. Only at the gym.
Only at the gym. And the effect, it was profound. Almost immediately, she stopped dreading the gym. Actually, she started craving her workouts because that was the only way she could get her story fixed.
Why, she turned the chore into the reward trigger.
Precisely. She turned exercise from something to endure into an exciting opportunity. And that right there is the core of temptation bundling. It's coupling something you want to do, that instant gratification, with a should behavior that gives you long-term benefits but usually needs willpower.
It really is like Mary Poppins, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
It's a great analogy, and what's really critical here, as you pointed out, is that it's not just rewarding yourself after the task.
Right, it's during.
It's fusing them. That's the magic. It changes the experience of the should task itself. It makes the chore enjoyable, or at least tolerable in the moment, because you get that distraction, that dopamine hit right then and there.
So it's not just a theory. She tested this.
Oh, absolutely. Milkman and her team ran a study. They got 226 university students and staff who wanted to exercise more. Divided them into 3 groups.
Okay.
Group 1, the full treatment, could only listen to tempting audiobooks like The Hunger Games at the gym. Group 2, intermediate, was just encouraged to bundle. And Group 3, the control, just got a gift card for participating.
And the results.
Pretty dramatic. The full treatment group, the ones with the strict rule, increased their gym visits by 51% compared to the control group. 51%.
Wow, that's significant.
Huge. Even the intermediate group saw a solid 29% increase. So this was real evidence. Temptation bundling isn't just a cute idea, it's scientifically shown to help people follow through.
That's compelling.
And get this, after the study, 61% of the participants said they'd be willing to pay to have their iPods locked up at the gym, only usable there.
No way. They recognize its power that much.
Exactly. They understood their own tendency to, cheat on the rule, and they wanted that commitment device. It just shows how a simple strategy, grounded in how our brains actually work, creates consistent action. And consistent action is the bedrock, the energetic foundation for manifesting what you desire.
Okay, I'm sold. This sounds genuinely game-changing. So how does someone listening right now actually put temptation bundling to practice? Make it work in their own life?
It's actually refreshingly simple. Just 3 core steps.
All right, let's break it down. Step one. Create your want and should lists. Simple as that. Grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. 2 columns.
Left side, right side.
Yep. Left side, your shoulds. These are the habits, the tasks, are good for you, the ones that align with your goals for success, for well-being,
Yeah.
but you just keep putting off. Be specific, though.
Right, not just exercise.
No, like 30 minutes on the stationary bike or fold that massive pile of laundry.
Yeah.
Could be answering emails, doing dishes, paying bills, studying that course, making those awkward phone calls, anything you dread a little. Then, right side, your wants. These are your genuine temptations, pure pleasures. What podcasts are you totally hooked on? What's that TV show you can't stop thinking about? Maybe it's scrolling Instagram, or that fancy coffee you never buy, getting a pedicure, blasting your favorite album.
The key here is genuine enjoyment.
Yeah.
It has to be truly tempting for you.
Absolutely, your real, irresistible, guilty pleasures, basically.
This first step is so critical because it forces clarity. You define both sides of the equation, and the reason this works so well psychologically is it taps into several powerful principles at once.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, it's a fantastic example of Premack's principle. Sounds fancy, but it just means more likely behaviors reinforce less likely behaviors.
So watching Netflix makes folding laundry more likely.
Exactly. The high probability, fun thing, Netflix, reinforces the low probability, boring thing, laundry. Second, it directly tackles that present bias. Exercise has delayed rewards, immediate costs, brain says no. A great podcast has immediate rewards, brain says yes.
So you borrow the yes from the podcast.
And attach it right onto the exercise. Suddenly, the immediate experience isn't just effort, it's also pleasure. The anticipation of the podcast starts to outweigh the dread of putting on workout clothes.
That makes so much sense.
Third, and this is huge for manifestation, it leverages dopamine anticipation. Once your brain learns that doing the dishes means you get to listen to that amazing true crime podcast.
It starts looking forward to the dishes. Seems unlikely.
Not the dishes themselves, but the reward linked to them. The brain anticipates the want before you even start the should. That anticipation releases dopamine, boosting motivation to start. Over time, you might actually find yourself looking forward to chore time because it means reward time.
Okay, that's powerful.
And finally, it's efficient. Solves two problems. Gets the should done and makes the want productive instead of guilt-inducing. No more feeling bad about watching that show if you're doing it while crushing your fitness goals on the elliptical.
Right.
It's really about consciously designing your habits, your environment, to support your highest goals and manifest your best life.
Okay, lists are made. Wants on one side, shoulds on the other. What's step 2?
Step 2, play matchmaker.
Matchmaker. Okay.
Yeah, find compatible pairs, bundles that work well together. The best ones are where you can enjoy the want while doing the should without messing things up.
So, like listening to a podcast or audiobook you want while you're on the treadmill,
Yeah.
or elliptical you should, perfect match.
Exactly. Or only watching your favorite guilty pleasure TV show while you fold laundry or do the dishes. That works great.
What if the should needs more focus, like emails or bills?
Good question. Then you need a more passive want. Maybe enjoying a really delicious specialty coffee or tea that you only have during that specific task.
Ooh, like a ritual reward.
Precisely. Or maybe catching up on voicemails from family while you meal prep. Or listening to a really high-energy addictive album only when you run errands.
I like that one. Errands can be such a drag.
Right. And hey, for something really tough, like a difficult monthly meeting you dread, maybe you hold it at your favorite coffee shop or restaurant, make the environment itself part of the bundle.
That's clever. So the key is finding that natural fit, where the pleasure just wraps around the effort.
You got it. Where the want makes the should feel better in the moment.
Okay, makes sense. Find the right pair. Then what? Step 3.
Step 3, make your rule unbreakable. And I mean unbreakable. This is probably the most critical part for making it stick long term.
No cheating.
Zero cheating. The want must be restricted only to the should. If your rule is, I only listen to this podcast while I run, you cannot listen to it anywhere else. Not in the car, not while cooking. That pleasure is exclusively tied to the run.
Why is that so important?
Because the second you cheat, you break the psychological link. The association weakens. The temptation loses its motivational power for the task. It just dilutes the whole effect.
Okay, discipline is key.
It takes discipline, especially at first, but it pays off. Some people even create physical barriers, like specific YouTube playlists only accessible on the gym Wi-Fi, or that Psychflix project you hear about. A guy literally hacked his exercise bike so Netflix only played if he pedaled fast enough.
Oh, that's commitment.
It is. The stricter you are with the rule, the stronger and more automatic the habit becomes.
So lists, matchmaking, unbreakable rule, that's the core. Is there anything else, like, can you layer this?
Absolutely. For even more power, especially thinking about manifesting goals, you can combine temptation bundling with another great technique from James Clear called habit stacking.
Habit stacking. That's linking a new habit to an existing one, right?
Exactly. The basic formula is, after current habit, I will habit I need. Simple anchor. Now we merge them, create a kind of super stack.
Ooh, okay. What does that look like?
The formula becomes, after current habit, I will habit I need, and while I'm doing it, I will habit I want.
Ah, okay. Give me an example.
Sure. After I pour my morning coffee, that's your current habit, I will meditate for 5 minutes, that's the habit you need, and while I meditate, I will listen to my favorite relaxing playlist. That's the habit you want.
Okay, I see. Stacking and bundling together.
Another one. After I change out of my work clothes, current habit, I will go for a 30-minute walk, habit I need, and while I walk, I will call my sister, habit I want. See, it creates this automatic rewarding chain that just pulls you along without needing constant willpower.
That's really smart. Okay, quick pause here. If you're finding this discussion useful, these ideas are clicking for you, please take just a second to hit that like button.
Yeah, it really helps us reach more people who could benefit from this.
And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel for more insights like this, strategies to help you build the life you want.
We appreciate the support.
So, just to wrap our heads around this again, the core problem is that constant, exhausting fight against procrastination, against our own brain's wiring for instant gratification. Relying on willpower alone just wears us out.
It's like swimming upstream, constantly.
Exactly. But temptation bundling gives us a smarter way, a more elegant way, honestly, even a more joyful way. It lets you turn those tasks you dread into actual opportunities for pleasure. It makes the path to your goals feel, well, better.
It's a profound shift, and it's backed by solid science. It works because it cleverly uses positive reinforcement, gives you those dopamine hits right when you need them, and takes the pressure off your limited willpower.
Are there any downsides or things to watch out for?
Good point. Two main things. First, the novelty of your want can fade. That podcast might get boring after a while. So you need to be ready to swap out your temptations periodically to keep the bundle exciting and effective.
Keep it fresh. Makes sense.
Second, and this is crucial, you have to guard against temptation leakage. That means cheating, enjoying your reward outside of the bundled activity. If you start doing that, the reward loses its power to motivate the should. It completely unravels the system. Be strict.
Got it. No leakage.
Ultimately, this isn't about forcing yourself into misery. It's about smart self-management. It's about being an architect of your habits, designing a system where doing the right thing actually feels good, feels attractive, almost magnetic.
Like designing your life to support your goals.
Exactly. Think of it as a strategic approach to manifesting that life. You envision the success, the abundance, the well-being. Your future self, the one living that reality, will be so grateful you consistently showed up. And this makes showing up easier, even enjoyable.
Okay, powerful stuff.
So here's a challenge for everyone listening right now. Let's make this real. Identify one should that's been nagging at you. Something you've put off but know would move you forward.
Just one to start.
Just one. And then identify one want, a genuine temptation, something you really crave. Create your first temptation bundle. Right now. Think about it.
And actually, we have a challenge for you related to that.
We do. Down in the comments below, share that first temptation bundle you're going to try. Tell us, what's the should task and what's the want you're pairing it with?
Yeah, reading through everyone's ideas is honestly one of the best ways to get inspired and maybe find combinations you hadn't thought of.
Absolutely. Let's learn from each other. And remember the big takeaway here. Stop fighting your brain's natural desire for instant gratification. Start using it. Harness it. Make it the engine that drives your ambition and helps you manifest that extraordinary life you deserve.